Welcome, Purple.
Thank you, Jim, and I love your rap today, Bill.
Oh, thank you.
The sound effects were very effective.
Exactly, good. And there wouldn't be 18 winners anyway on a weekend, would there? I was just listening to that promo. There'd only be 9.
Everyone's positive.
Oh,
no, that's what I'm saying. It's all positives, Bill.
How are you, Damo? How are you? Because you're looking good. You've had a buzz cut. You got the island still. You're looking all right.
Oh, thanks, Bill. That wasn't what you said to me off air when I walked into the studio today.
You do. And the beard with a bit of grey, bit of Chris Scott.
You like that now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, well done. You're looking nice.
Very
Because
white.
I haven't spotted you. We spoke last week, but I haven't seen you.
No, I've seen Jim a few times and caught up with Jim.
Were you drinking red wine?
Yes, we were.
Yeah. Had a very nice evening, actually.
Responsibly.
Elwood Bathers. We caught up with the Duke.
We did.
Jeez, he's looking relaxed these
Isn't
days,
he?
the big Duke.
Yeah.
Who's more relaxed, John Longmire or
Probably
the Duke?
John Long.
Oh, mate.
Probably. But no, it was good to see everybody. All right, so we are ready to go.
Yep.
Is Thursday night going to happen?
This is opinion only, Jim, I would doubt it, but the AFL, as we heard today via Andrew Dillon, the Chief Executive Officer, is buying time, and he even motioned or mooted that he may wait until Thursday. I'd be surprised if they left it that long, but I would think it's unlikely.
All right, so
where do they go?
As we know, we've got one bit of lightning within 10 Ks and the game stops.
True.
So a whole bloody cyclone, surely.
Yeah.
What do they do with that game?
There's a reasonably seamless way of dealing with it.
GMHBA Stadium?
No, it's the round 3 vacancy in the
Why
fixture.
wouldn't they play at Geelong and then swap the next?
That would cause more logistical issues than necessary, Bill. They've both got buys under this convoluted, complicated
Round 0.
opening round, round 1, in round 3. So that would be the plan. That's certainly the intent from the Brisbane Lions, if it is to not be played on Thursday night, for that to be the case.
But no one's playing at Geelong.
For good reason.
No,
but they play that game and then just swap the round 13
It would be harder to get people in. And look, there may be a travel
What do you
ban
mean
on.
harder to get it?
Look, again, I don't want to preempt what the Queensland Premier is about to do, but there's a COVID type of feel to the language being distributed today about potentially not being allowed to leave your doors. And again, I don't want to get too dramatic about it, but it's going to be in the control of the politicians and the Bureau of Meteorology.
I think that would work. Just round 3,
Round
we
3.
go straight back up to the same venue with the same opponent.
It's unfortunate if we can just remove the carnage that's going to happen to people's lives up there, regardless of how strong it is. But it is the opening game of the season in opening round. So that's the issue with it. And the whole premise upon playing these matches over this weekend into the growth states, it has that impact on it. So.
All right. What else you got?
I just thought we'd just start with some takeouts.
What else have you got?
That's one topic we've gone with. I know. Well, I didn't talk to him beforehand. I forgot.
You're doing the craft, weren't you, with the sound effects?
We're talking about concern for Tassie or Luke Jackson. Which one?
No, I don't think we need to go there at the moment, Bill. There's a couple of takeouts. I don't, Jim, as you know, and we've discussed regularly, don't rely too much on what you see in practice matches. But having said that, you can see what clubs are trying to do. And I love what Collingwood has done by way of getting Dan Houston into the door itself, and the change in the half-back line that Craig McRae is now talking about openly, about putting Josh Dacos on the other half-back flank with Dan Houston. I think it's a really big potential change.
Most important player, nearly in this year, from now on, is a running half-back flanker that can kick a goal and can kick the ball beautifully.
It hasn't happened. It's never been sort of thought about, has it, from a coaching perspective?
Well, it has, I know. But
no one's
Rob Rassi put Keith Gregg at half-back in 1978, so it's sort of been going along for a
on the
bit.
wing.
Yeah, he
but
did.
It's so important to have one, and that's why Dan Houston's such a good pickup.
And he would have heard that on some other radio station on the way in.
Yeah, in about 1978.
Look at Fat. I got the Season Guide and I got the Herald Sun. I got the Western Australian one last year, and all I read about was Freo and West Coast. I didn't have the other teams.
So that's one.
He will be very good for them.
Bloody
he's the way he kicks it and the way they talk about the way he kicks it inside Collingwood. They reckon he may be the best kick in the comp. We'll soon see. Richmond, I've got a view, and it may be counter to what a lot of people have had, and we're going to see how it unfold over the next few years. But I feel they've cut way too hard in what they've done. They did it for a reason. They obviously just chose to allow contracted players in Bolton and Rioli to leave. Baker left as well. Graham left, and
it wasn't
obviously
Richmond's fault, was it? They actually wanted to go.
Yeah, but they allowed them to leave under contract, at least those first two players. And they got draft picks for them. I understand all of that, Bill. And they ended up getting a raft of people in. But for a team that won 2 matches last year with those players I just mentioned in the lineup, you just fear for Adam Uze in his second year of coaching.
I've said this for many years, Purple, and North Melbourne is an example of this. When you decide to cut that quickly and that deep, it looks great on a board in a boardroom. But when you've actually got to deal with the carnage of it, week to week in your footy department. It doesn't work.
No.
You need senior bodies to help young men learn the game and not get slaughtered.
And you need those young men to play 50 or 60 games, which is 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
And you can say that, Bill, but sometimes when you get to that number, you're no better off as a team. I just keep going back to the Ben Mackay number. He played 71 matches at North Melbourne and won 8 matches. And he chose to leave, as I think was understandable. Paul Curtis has won 7 of 59. I don't want to be too dramatic, but I fear that there's some Richmond players who are going to be entering a phase of win-loss similar to that.
So what happens to the coach then? What happens to Uze?
Well, it's an interesting question because he took the job under a different premise. If you recall what he was saying this time last year, he was talking about still having no ceiling on potential outcome on 2024. They won 2 matches. So, yeah, a couple of good ones. Petrarca playing last night.
Looked good. Covered the ground
first
nicely.
Game since his birthday. Bill. Yeah, looked good. He got the first touch of the game. And you just know he's going to be getting better each week, but I thought it was a really nice, encouraging hit out. I like what the Cats are going to present, Bill, just to get in that big picture of what we saw in the scratch match. The Shannon Neal, I know he played last year, the back half of last year, but they've got some massive raps on him, and you don't need me to tell you that. I know that. But
he's a big boy.
I think he's going to be pretty special over the journey.
Scratcher.
Scratcher.
Scratcher, but had no idea why.
Yeah, because I didn't know Scratcher Neal, the great Scratcher Neal, of course. Great player for the Cats.
He was.
And Barley Smith, we haven't seen a lot of him, but he plays round 0 if Cyclone Alfred doesn't come through.
Still carrying a bit of a niggle too out of that practice game. Obviously had the knee that he missed all of last year with, but a couple of just soft tissue ones they were just managing when I was down there a couple of weeks ago. I'm not convinced he's going to be a lock, even if the game goes ahead on Thursday night, Bill. I reckon they might just err on the side of caution with him. Or, potentially could.
Wow.
Bill's just looking through his season guide as we speak, so we'll get some gold out of that next.
You will, or you mightn't.
Barrett is stuck around.
Succession plan for Port Adelaide. Going to work, not going to work?
I like it, Jim. I feel it was very respectful to Ken Hinkley. I know people can have their views and argue that which message are the players going to most listen to this year because some will be playing for their futures, others are trying to hang on to the past, and Ken's word against Josh Carr's. But he's been there a long time, 13, 14 years.
And been bloody good.
He's been really good. I know that we judge really harshly in this game, don't we, Bill? You either win the premiership or you're a loser. And I get how that works, but he's made 4 prelim finals and he hasn't gone beyond that. We know that as well. He's been humiliated by the way of the result in some of them. But equally, he's kept that club together. He helped go it again. He had a good year last year. I know they fell short again in a prelim final. The Swans absolutely belted them. But beating Hawthorn in week 2, as we all covered, was one of the highlights of the year from any match perspective. So
it was very transparent.
It was, Bill.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I think they're all honest.
Yep.
So I'm with you. I thought it was okay.
Yep. And there's nothing, to me, there's nothing wrong when there's buy-in from the person who is ultimately most affected by it, and that is Ken in this case, as it has been in other succession plans. It gets a bad rap, some of the succession plans. When the Paul Roos into John Longmire was really good. That worked brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, I know, and then even the Paul Roos into Goodwin. I mean, I know everyone goes back to Nathan Buckley and Mick Malthouse, but that was Mick not wanting to move as much as anything. And again, I get that too. He'd just come off what was a prelim, and then his last game as coach of Collingwood, as we know, was a grand final loss. So, look, there's horses for courses. I think the course for the Port path of this is a good one.
Horses for courses.
Yep.
Bossy Nick at Flemington. What about
1 second?
A good second.
My man down the coast was on it.
Of course. We were all on it.
Is this Fat's horse?
Jockey forgot it was only 1,000, not 1,200. What about Tasmania? We haven't heard a lot about the Tassie Devils, the new side, Damian.
No, the hold up there, Bill, remains the government aspect of it. They've put the whole stadium project through the government body, which needs to have its box ticked in terms of
where are we at with
we're at
stadium?
Least, I would imagine, 3 to 6 months away from getting any form of formal approval on that. And we just know the way the AFL works. They're not going to publicly commit to this team this team will be coming in this year way until they get that done, because there's always been no stadium, no team, and until the government and the parliament itself signs off. So that's the logistics of it. There's still, Bill, and the clubs are meeting tomorrow in Sydney as part of the season launch. They always meet on this day, and they will be seeking answers as to
who's on the ground
an indication
for the Tassie side. So you got
2028 still, Bill, just to get back to what I was trying to finish there. That is still the belief of most clubs that 2028 will be the entry point without the stadium.
Righto.
Yep.
Who's on the ground there?
Basically one person and one person only, Brendan Gale. Well, he's not on the ground. He's over here in Melbourne, but he's controlling everything.
Righto.
And it'll be at least at least a year, I'd imagine. Maybe even 18 months before they name a coach.
You can't believe, though, Purple, given how outcome-driven the AFL is, that this stadium won't happen.
Yep.
They won't allow all of this to have occurred to then not get a stadium and not issue a licence. I can't see that happening.
No, not if it... It's a matter of guarantee, basically. It just takes time to get through the parliamentary process. I shouldn't say it's a guarantee because until it is signed off, it's not. But it had already met the approval of all politicians before it went through this particular process.
Who are you most worried about coming into this season?
Yeah.
Who's got the most heat on them?
I just touched on Richmond from an Adamuse perspective. St Kilda, they've got so many injuries right now that I just don't see them having a massive input as well. I feel there'll be improvement in West Coast, and again, Jim, we keep saying that North Melbourne, 15 matches only have been won in 5 seasons. It's time for them to hit some win.
I agree.
And
they've got to start at least showing that there's blue skies coming.
Because it's all very well and good to keep losing narrowly and saying it's okay. It's not. And to me, in the third year of Alistair Clarkson, it needs to be.
Sydney, are you worried about?
I'm not worried about them. I think I still feel they'll get enough matches to, in my eyes, easily make finals, and I expect them to still be top 4.
Good news anyway. Warner has signed on at the Swans.
Which one?
Corey.
Yeah. And that's going to be another rolling storyline, as we've known already to this point. I mean, he is the biggest name in Chad and Luke Davies-Uniacke as well. And also Tom de Koning is another one who's yet to commit publicly as to where he wants to be.
Wow. We've got a bit more to get to with you, people. I don't know how modern players go with that. Like, to go through a whole season unsigned at the end of that season, so that every time you front up anywhere, the only question you get asked is, well, are you signing?
Yeah.
Well, it must drive you mad.
Well, it's the teammates around them too who get asked as well, isn't it?
All the time.
Exactly.
I have bumped into Chad in the off-season, Jim. I reckon if there's someone's built for that period of his life, I think he's ready for it.
I thought you were about to say built for the city of Perth.
Well, I feel, again, the clubs that I speak to feel he's going there, but until he does sign, we don't know, do we?
TV landscape?
Oh, yes, please.
All right, that's coming up.
Oh, we got another thing.
You brought nothing out of your season guide.
What happened there?
Oh, here, I've got this. See this?
Well, he did hedge his bets and say he could bring something or could bring nothing.
And he brought nothing.
But now I've got something.
Classified back tonight on Channel 9.
And what have you got in your hands there, Fat?
Well, you wouldn't believe this, Jimmy boy, but it's the Footy Classified.
Earphones, they're not, you go on when
this is the big photo that goes out to the media.
Yes,
and
I've got a copy.
Let's have a look at it here, because I've never seen 4 more smug bozos in my life, and all with an array of smugness about them. Well, Damo, very, very smug there, Damo. Look, you're not smiling, you're just very serious and got the beard and all that. Lordo, we love Lordo, but
Lordo.
smugness about him.
What about the next bloke along, Bill?
Sam McClure. Wow, that is smugness with a capital S.
I had to think about that.
Yes, it's going to go with him. And Jimmy Bartell's cute. I like him.
Oh, yeah, right.
But that is smugness there, array of.
Stubbles.
I know, what's going
Stubbled
on?
up.
Both ends with the stubbles, with the beard.
Well, as I told you this time last year, I sought permission from the network if I could wear a beard last year, and they said okay. So I thought I might as well keep going.
Purple.
Bill,
That photo looks to me like all 4 of you have been photographed independently.
Yeah, we have been.
Does that mean there's some tension?
No, unlike it was. At least we're on there tonight, Jim. I don't believe Channel 7's offering anything
No,
tonight.
that's Hutchie's
The
channel.
agenda said Hutchie's still in
That's
Vegas.
Hutchie's
And
stuff. Is he still in Vegas?
well, he was in Vegas yesterday. I know that. There's a sighting of him in Vegas yesterday.
Now,
So.
I've got another television question.
Oh, good. What do you got?
Sunday Footy Show.
Yes, the first one.
So that'll be this Sunday.
This Sunday, Damo?
Yes.
Now,
We're back.
With the host, with the most, the Chompers.
You had a quiet
All
summer,
I
Tony.
see are big white chompers.
All I see are big white chompers.
how's it going to
Now,
go?
how are we going to go? Because at what stage do you bring it up?
We're all going to be watching
Yep.
for it.
Are you?
What
Yeah.
stage do you go?
Might
Right.
need some inspiration. Have you got some ideas as to how one of us should tackle this
I'd get a cardboard
issue?
cutout and just wander in with it and go, can we talk about this now? Or like,
Talk about what, Jim?
Just the elephant in the room.
What is that?
Chompers summer. How are you going to deal with
How
it?
are you going to deal with it?
We've got
You can't not
thoughts
deal
on
with
it. Yeah. I'm actually seeing someone, I think, tonight about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're just going to...
are you going to do as you're told,
workshop
or
a few
are
things.
you going to actually?
Everyone's going to be
There's an
watching.
expectation there will be something raised, Jim.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you do very well.
What would
on
Sam
the
have done?
Sunday show.
He would have.
Sam would have said off the top,
Yeah.
because we'd be sitting there and we'd have been told by 25 legal people under no circumstances are you to bring this up.
Yes.
So about a minute and a half into the footy show, he'd go, now, Jimmy boy, now? Do I go now? And I'd go, no.
No.
He'd go, and he'd say, I guarantee at some stage tonight I'll be bringing it up, so you just let me know when. And he'd go about 15 more times
Come on,
until
Damo.
eventually he just blurted out.
You used to beat to your own drum, though, at that show. Before I started there, Jim, and when they had the Sunday Footy Show and Any Given Sunday, you used to just gate crash the last two segments of the Sunday Footy Show. And
Gary, it was boring.
Yes.
The
you
last
just
bit.
walk across cameras and
Oh,
stuff.
no, yeah.
The last bit was boring, so Sam and I just
On live
walked
TV.
on.
Come on,
take
Gary.
off.
we're-
Yeah, come on.
I've
I
got
won
a-
the handball.
I've got
beat
another
Adam
question
Simpson.
for you.
Oh, here we are. We're seeing
Smug.
new night, new time, new teams.
Oh, Herdy.
All right.
Yeah,
So
on the,
I've got
on
a
the main
question.
Channel 9 network too, which I'm not sure the 7 shows are on their main
I think they
network.
have to be.
Well, they're not on tonight, and I
What?
think that you'll find they're on 7 Plus and 7
They
Mates.
better not be on 74. That's where I watch the truck drivers going across the country, and I love that. And they dig for gold, the gold diggers. If they,
And the Opal Mines.
Opal Mines,
Bearsy's
Opal.
shaking his head.
How
That's
good's
the wrong
Opal?
channel.
I've got a question for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
The new chief of the Herald Sun, the sport department.
Our man Jay-Z.
Who's it
gonna be? Who's it
Surely
gonna be?
Jay-Z.
Has to be Jay-Z.
It's not even a question.
What are you
in my eyes.
hearing out there in the media circles?
Well, there's a bit of tension between.
and the
he
punch
and-
on, did
and
that happen down here at Bell's?
There was a couple of hours of friction down there. Yeah,
What, they went.
it was a
50 cuffs.
conversation that went a long time. Yeah,
Who would have won that?
I'd go Jay-Z. Jay-Z, didn't he?
What
didn't
did we
he go
hear,
to
by the way? Are we
Oh,
allowed
he's
to
been
mention-
in the square
circle?
circle.
Yeah.
Jay-Z
Are we
a couple
allowed
of
he
times.
might be in the square circle coming up, Adelaide?
Jay-Z.
Ooh, Pendles.
Well, Pendle's dropped out.
He did drop
He's
that.
best.
Jay-Z and Johnny Ralph in the ring.
Oh, I'd be saying.
Really?
Oh, Dave.
I've heard this, but I haven't checked it out.
Might have been being cheeky, I think.
I think
Pendles.
Pendles, yeah, he dropped that the other day.
I
And
want
Scotty
to
would
know. I want an indication as to when you bring Novak up. Purple.
Purple.
Well, you used to do the show yourself, Jim.
Oh,
so
no,
the show starts at 10
Don't
o'clock.
try and put
No,
it back
no,
on
are
me.
you
That was
saying-
15 years ago.
Are you saying 10:01?
I
You know
think
who'll
the
do it.
audience will be large.
Nath Brown.
Nath Brown.
Nath Brown.
Nath Brown.
He'll do it. He's got to do it. He's our man. Come on, Nath.
Have to bring it up.
Because
Nath
you
Brown.
won't.
Lord, I
it.
won't.
Lord, I won't.
I'll definitely do it. You know me. I'll never shirk the hardball bill. Smug.
You'll be hiding up there under the desk. You will be.
Oh.
No, Nath's our man. He's got to do
Yeah.
it. Come on, Nath.
Good to see you, Purple.
Likewise, you.